try and speak to that mic for me.
Hello,
Yeah.
testing. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, that one.
You want the manager, not me? Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Testing.
Well, welcome to the AFC Telford United press conference to introduce the new manager. My name's James Bond from BBC Radio Shropshire. I'll be asking a few questions, but then afterwards the floor is yours. So Bucks fans, the chance to quiz your new man. So Paul, welcome to AFC Telford United. I know you're pleased to be here, but how did it all come about?
A call from the Warrington chairman last week to tell me that he'd give permission for the chairman here to give me a call. We spoke about 15 minutes and then we arranged to meet up, and everything kind of went really quickly, but it seemed to take forever. There was a lot of things that we hadn't sort of finalised, but we knew it was going to go that way. But until those things were finalised, we couldn't sort of make any noises.
So were you oblivious to this then, really? So it came through your chairman first of all?
The chairman phoned me, yeah.
Wow.
The chairman phoned me on Tuesday, I think it was.
Gosh, so it has been quick.
Yeah, it's been one of those when people say, you know, that seems like it's took forever, or hasn't that week gone quick? It was both. It was both. It seemed to just fly towards Saturday, towards my last game with Warrington, but the time it took in between was just every night I was like up late, up early, so it was just days seemed to roll into each other. But glad to be here now and looking forward to getting going.
You've seen the ground, you've seen the stadium.
Yeah.
It's a big club to come to.
Yeah, huge club, huge potential, which I'm sure a lot of people have said when they've either played here or been managers. You know, and one I'm really looking forward to getting going, working with the lads and getting some points on the board and getting away from the bottom of the league, that's for sure.
And what has the chairman here at Telford said to you? What does he want you to do over the next, well, it's long term, isn't it?
It is, you know, short term. We have just got to do that. We've got to find a way to win some football matches. You know, obviously the trophy game coming Saturday. It's one that people will say, oh well, that's ideal because there's no points on it, or but is it ideal because it's so far away? It's a potential banana skin. So you get all those things. But for me, we'll have two sessions before then. We're going overnight on Friday, so that gives us even more contact time with the players before to get to know them a little bit better. You know, but it's a game, and it's a game of football that we'll go into and we'll be looking to win, because we need to start winning whatever match it is, whatever competition it is. We need to get a winning habit, winning mentality, and because as much as losing streaks and form and being disappointed, it does form a habit, but winning can quickly become a habit as well. So that's obviously our intention.
I'm sure you know some of the players already, and I suspect you've also been busy on Google, haven't you?
Yeah, to be honest, it's funny because I look at the squad and there's a lot of players who certainly where I was at Warrington was certainly out of our reach, even though it's only the league above. You know, and there'll be a lot of players who should be, you know, every player should be disappointed to where they are, because I believe if I was to ask them a question, do you believe you're better than bottom of the Conference North, they'd all say yeah. So there's obviously reasons and things that have gone on or things that haven't gone on. You know, but me being in this position, I wouldn't be here if everything was hunky-dory. So I'm not daft enough to know that there's things that need fixing, things that need putting right, and obviously as well giving the lads the opportunity to do that, which is paramount. been upheaval for them. A couple of managers come and go. Obviously, they've all been signed by those managers, so that it's, you know, there must be a bit of confusion in there as well as to what's gone on. And but you know, thankfully, I'm in the building and with Carl Baker, and we'll be looking to get things in order as quickly as we can.
Well, your arrival adds some sort of certainty at long last, doesn't it?
I'd like to think so, yeah. Yeah, and as a player, I've been there myself when managers, you know, you're chopping and changing managers, and you're thinking, what's happening next, and it's a different voice, and it's a different instruction, it's a different way of playing, it's a different tactic, it's a different team. But you know, we're here, and we're gonna get working tomorrow and Thursday, and we're really looking forward to working with the lads. We went down to the training ground yesterday, and you know, obviously you can't help but be impressed by it, and obviously the facilities we've got here as well. It's somewhere where we need to make the players enjoy coming to play and to showcasing what they've got rather than being apprehensive. And one thing as well is having opponents coming here, rubbing their hands together, thinking, oh yeah, we're playing Telford, the bottom of the league, pitch is unbelievable, lovely stadium. You know, I don't want that. I want the complete opposite. You know, and that's what we'll be looking to work on.
Now, you said that points are obviously a priority, but do you want to add style as well? What's your plan?
The plan is, obviously, we need to assess what we've got first, because there's no point in me saying we're going to play Barcelona style, we're going to split centre halves, we're going to have full backs by the corner flags, we're going to rotate in midfield, and we're going to do all these things, and then go, well, we haven't quite really got that in the squad. So first things first, we need to get organised. We need to have the players know the jobs, the roles and responsibilities, which I'm pretty certain if you ask them what they should be in the team to do, they'll give you the right answers. But it's about enforcing them roles and responsibilities, and then trying to get some winning football. That's obviously a style in itself. We need to win games. And then as time goes on and we see what we've got, and we can implement more and more of our way of doing things, that's going to be, I think, when we see the, you know, what hopefully and ultimately what we want it to look like on the pitch.
A lot of loan players here at the moment, of course, that they will run out at some stage. Have you got players in your head already you're thinking about bringing in?
Well, I have, but obviously we've got to. I know on paper that the squad is more than capable. A lot of people who I've spoke to since coming into the job have said exactly that. So we need to, like I've said before, we need to push some buttons and get a tune out of the lads that we've got here. If we don't do that, then obviously we make changes naturally. That's what happens in the game. But listen, as a manager, you've always got players, you've always got agents on the phone, because did you know agents don't have bad players? They never have a bad player, an agent. So, but first things first is to see what's here, give the lads an opportunity, and take it from there. Obviously, the loan players will run out at some point. It's not ideal to have so many loan players, but the situation is what it is. But we want to have our own players. We want to have our own players on the pitch, and if we need to, or someone specials out there who we can get on loan who needs some experience, then yeah, but we don't want to be having a quarter the side to be borrowed from other clubs. We want our own young players.
Tell us a little bit about your assistant, Carl Baker. Have you worked with him before?
I've not worked with Bakes before, but I've obviously known him a long time. Had a brilliant career, still capable of playing. He won't thank me for saying that, but he'll be someone definitely, you know, in certain parts of training sessions, his standards and the way he is, he will drive and enforce a lot of the things that we want with how he is on the training pitch. You know, and he knows himself. He might be called upon.
So you're going to sign him as a player?
Yeah, he'll be signed as a player. Well,
right.
There's no point in having someone with his ability sat next to me if he can influence something on the pitch. So, yeah, I mean, we both spoke about that, but you know, he's somebody who's got an unbelievable knowledge of players in this area with his connections, and obviously he was at Brackley and he's been at Nuneaton, which gives him knowledge of obviously both this level and the level below, and players in the area, which is you know, that's going to be a real good strength to have in the club with having Carden on board.
Well, yeah, because you're northwest based. He's based around Nuneaton.
Yeah.
You've got eyes on a lot of players in a big area.
Well, that's obviously why we believe it's going to work really well. The pool of players that we can watch or we know, it just grows because of, like you say, that area that we both cover.
You're a football manager first of all, but you're also a man as well. So it's 3 o'clock. You're on the touchline at Felixstowe on Saturday. What will your thoughts be then? Heart beating?
I hope I see everything on Tuesday and Thursday to feel relaxed, but listen, you're never relaxed fully, but I'll be looking forward to it. I'll be looking for, you know, really looking forward to the game, as far away as it is, you know, but hey ho, it is what it is. We'll go there and we'll, as I say, we'll be looking to win. We need to win, and you know, if the lads or if anyone thinks, so, you know, do you need to put unnecessary pressure on? The pressure is there anyway. We're the bigger club, we're the favourites, no matter what's gone on in the league. We want to win, and that's what it needs to be about. And you know, not more, not less. We need to win a game.
It's exciting for everybody, and exciting for you.
Yeah, as I say, the last few days have been all over the place, but when everything was finally done, that was a big relief, but it was also an emotion of excitement as well. I'm looking, and I'm here yesterday, and me and Carl were like, how good could this be? You know, the excitement of giving fans something to smile about again, and getting more of the fans back in because we're winning games, and ultimately, you know, enjoying what you do. And if, you know, players, staff, whoever it is, if you don't enjoy coming here to this football club, then, you know, you're in the wrong game. And that's what I'm really looking forward to being here, and to putting aside on that people want to support and people want to cheer, and like I said, win football matches.
I know Telford fans are waiting to pose questions to you as well. I know Telford fans are very excited about seeing you in action, meeting you in person. Could this be the start of a really big story, a bounce back for Telford?
That's the plan. They're the hopes. You know, it won't be easy. It won't be plain sailing. You know, people talk about teams on paper and squad lists and this, that, and the other, but it's out there where it counts, and it's what we do leading up to games that's gonna make the difference. And obviously, like you said before, getting a tune out of the players, which is what's going to make things happen, and that's where me and Carl are obviously in here for. But like you say, we've got a lot of excitement about us. We know it's going to be hard work, but, you know, work that we're prepared for, and, you know, ready to get going.
Well, we wish you all the best.
Thanks very much.
I look forward to working with you on Radio Shropshire as well.
Yeah.
You see, it's a big club. You've got a press conference, which you didn't have at Warrington, I suspect.
No, I didn't. But yeah, it'll just be, like I've said before, it'll just be the same from me. You'll get honesty. I'll say it how I see it. I'm not one of these who tries to dress it up with football jargon, because at the end of the day, you know, you pull the wool over people's eyes and you soon get found out, and that'll be me. I'll just be as honest as I see it.
Lovely. Well, sincerely, good luck.
Thanks very much.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Cheers.
Poor Heights, Lewis at the Star. Whirlwind week, as I'm sure you've said. You know, you found it a few days. Obviously, you had your loyalties to Warrington, of course, but when this job came about, when you started hearing things about it? I mean, great excitement, I'm sure, for yourself, as you touched on.
Yeah, of course. In the past, I've obviously been at Warrington for 5 years, and there's been a couple of approaches that haven't sort of gone anywhere, and but obviously once I heard about Telford, it was different. It makes you stand up tall and take note. Like you said, I did have my loyalties to the club, to Warrington, because I'd been there for 5 years, and it becomes part of your life and what you do. You know, every day, even though you're part-time, I class myself as a part-time professional, and so every day was about football more often than not. You know, 90% of the calls that I get or that I make are football related. My bosses in work won't thank me for saying that, but you know, that's just the way it is.
I think I read in the Warrington Press today you finished at Tranmere and went there, and that was you moving away from professional game, was it? Is that the case? And what is your work now? What do you get up to, if you don't mind me asking?
I do. I'm an energy assessor, but I work for a company doing. We do sort of install energy efficiency measures and all kinds of stuff, which sounds pretty boring. But I do surveys and properties and stuff like that. So that's what I've gone into. But first and foremost, it's always been football. Put it this way, I've got my main qualifications of football. So yeah.
How did you find that adjustment? Stepping away from that and into work, and you want to get back to full-time football.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Everything I'd known since leaving school was full-time football. That was the age of 16, moving to Blackpool, and then going on to my playing career, then obviously leading into coaching and managing. But when I went part-time, it was like, it took a little bit of adjusting, because you're waiting for training. Lads are turning up and they're getting out of vans, caked in, mortar or tile grout or paint, or so it took a bit of time, but we quickly got on with it and dealt with it and turned it into like what I want to have here, which is part-time professionals. I'm a believer that being a professional is a mindset and not a status, because I've been at clubs where I've been a full-time player where there's some of the worst pros you'll ever come across, and you wouldn't have them anywhere near you because of the way they are. So just because people are part-time, you're getting paid to do something that doesn't make you any less a professional. And on the back of being at Warrington, we've had some of the best part-time professionals that you could imagine, because they've got the work, they've got the family, they've got the football, they've obviously got the fitness and how they look after themselves, and so that's all crammed into 7 days a week somewhere. And to be able to do that and have time management the way they do is that's where it becomes professional, and that's obviously what the aims are at Telford, because I'm a believer that you know, just because you train part-time doesn't mean to say that you've got a part-time mindset, you're a professional.
You enjoyed longevity, didn't you, at Warrington, five years, and that helps, doesn't it? I'm sure build something, build a connection, a squad, club, and what you want to achieve here. I'm sure to have that longevity that comes with success, that comes with that. It's a big job building, that, is it? At this point, looking forward, it seems a way away. Do you see it as a big job? Obviously, there are different short to longer term aims at the minute.
It is, isn't it? I mean, there's not too many managers at any level in jobs for 5 years, and mainly it's based around success, but there's obviously different versions of success depending on the club. At Warrington, when I took over, the club had just been promoted, but the chairman quickly realised that he needed to take it on again. So that's obviously why we went in, and why we done well there. You know, but obviously there's levels and ceilings of clubs. Now I believe Warrington have got a promotion in them. The ceiling to Telford is way higher. You know, the potential of the place, I don't need to tell you guys, you'll know more than me. And that's something that's so appealing, to be part of, and to be in charge, and to try and put a formula together to hit that potential, and to, you know, try and achieve what everyone believes can happen here.
There's a brilliant fan base here, isn't there? Great numbers when things are going well and the place gets packed. It's a great place to be. You know, a few years ago they had great success going to the semis of the trophy and being in the division above, of course, and that's what you want to achieve, isn't it? Obviously, just to have that, get everyone in, get a good feeling around the place, and get people involved again.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no point in having this stadium if that's not the aim, to fill it. You know, there has been successes in you know, the last few years at the club, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to bring more of that. I'm an ambitious person. I want to do well for people. I want to do well for myself and for my family, but I want to do well for people as well, because, you know, everything goes hand in hand. You know, it's like players play, and if they play for themselves, you might think, oh, it might be selfish, but if they're playing for themselves and they're doing it right, then, you know, they'll be giving you something. But as I say, it's not going to be any individuals that get us there. It's going to be a collective, and that's from top to bottom. And that's the way any successful club is. It's not just about one person. It's about a collective, and that's what we need to establish here quickly.
I know it's only been maybe a week, the interest in the talk. I'm sure you've been doing a hell of a lot of homework on it, but what kind of grasp do you feel you have on perhaps the club as a whole, because I'm sure you know about the club's history and where it's been, but the squad at the minute, you know, how well do you think you kind of know the players?
Well, I don't know anyone personally,
No.
which I actually like. I actually like that. I think it's a good thing, because obviously the previous managers have, you know, obviously Gavin had a connection with quite a few of the players, you know, and I think that will be a good thing, because it's totally going to be on what goes on the grass. There's no relationships already there, and, you know, I remember somebody saying to me about management. You know, when you go into management, you're not going in to make mates. You're going in to win football matches, and that's it. But if you win football matches, that happens naturally, because you enjoy things, yeah. and people are doing the things that you want of them, and then relationships form, and then that's when you do have stronger bonds with players because of that. So like you say, it's going to be all new. I'm meeting a lot of new players, and, you know, I've said it before, I just can't wait to get going.
And you've said it, you're an ambitious guy, managing at a step higher now. I mean, how do you think the difference will be? Obviously, you won't have watched too many National North games live in person, obviously, but, you know, what do you envisage might be some of the challenges ahead?
Probably similar, really. You know, when you're playing in your league, obviously there's, more often than not, there's a full fixture. So we obviously need people to go and watch games, to watch opponents and stuff like that, to give us feedback on it. You know, obviously we can watch games ourselves via the videos and stuff, but it's always about the work you do, the extra work that you do in non-league. But like you said before, we're part-time professionals, so we'll be doing everything we can to make sure we're as prepared as we can be, no matter who we face. And that's been when I was at Warrington, and that'll continue where I am now.
Just wanted to touch on your time at Warrington and the success, specifically the playoffs. Having a bit of research in the week and stuff. I mean, you've been on some journeys, haven't you? The first playoff when you lost that in the semis, wasn't it? And then winning it, but then having to play the Southern. I mean, you probably don't want to stir up the memories, I'm sure, but how do you look back on it with pride? I'm sure.
Definitely, because we turned a team that was sort of okay at the level into a side that every year was competitive. Obviously we played the season we played Grantham and lost in the semis. We got to the last 16 of the trophy, and I think that season we played 66 games because there was a few replays, but we beat some. We beat Ebbsfleet, we beat Tamworth, we beat Alty. We were all good clubs and tough opponents. Ebbsfleet got in the playoffs of the conference, the national, that season. They actually lost to Tamworth. And then we've obviously had the two COVID seasons. The first one where it was sort of 3/4 of the way through. We were sitting in the playoffs again. Last season, I think we were only 13 games in, but we were in the playoffs again. So, from what we were to what we are now, Warrington are looked at as a strong opposition. I keep saying we've. Forgive me for that. It's a club now that is always going to have young players because of what is being created. The platform and a pathway to play men's football for a lot of young lads isn't always there. Certainly where a lot of full-time clubs are. They play academy games, they play bounce games or development games, and it's not real to life to what they're going to be experiencing. So at Warrington we pride ourselves on giving that platform for players, and the success that's in the side now is that you've got 5, 6, 7, 21 and below, 22, 21s. You've got 3 18-year-old lads who are constantly in the squad. So not only does it welcome players and make them think, well, I'm going to get an opportunity, it also adds assets to the club, which is fundamental.
How hard was the season you won the playoff final, but then obviously you had the extra game? Was that because of the restructuring, I think I'm right in saying, and ultimately denied, I suppose, perhaps the promotion you deserved and the club deserved?
Yeah, well, any other year before and any other year after, playoff winners in your division get promotion. So when that happened, it was a kick where it hurts big time, and it was a long summer. We'd done unbelievably well. We'd had a great season. We beat South Shields away, who weren't. They were training hybrid. They're full time now. But the squad that we'd put together was a total mix. Some really good experience and some good young lads who we'd got from actually Sunday League, and it was gut wrenching, as I'm sure you can imagine. But again, we regrouped. We lost a load of players who went higher, and then we put a side together which, like I say, I think we were 33 games into the following season, which got interrupted by COVID, but we were in the playoffs again with probably 8 players different. So we'd had to build constantly, and that was something that I'm proud we've done, because even though we lost a lot of players, we were always able to put a side out that was always going to compete and give lads opportunities. And so, like you say, it was hard to take, and it was a long summer, but you got to deal with these things, haven't you?
Does it almost feel like you've got your chance now? I mean, it was taken away from you then, wasn't it? A few years later on now, at a different club, obviously, but you're managing at the level now. Yeah,
that's it, and it's the ambition doesn't, and the drive doesn't stop just because I'm managing a club in the league above. You know, let's go again, but let's get things. Let's walk before we run. You know, let's get some winning football. Let's get some organisation, and then let's see where we can go. But because, you know, like I said before, everything's about levels and levels of success and what's deemed success, and I'm pretty certain everyone in here will agree with me in that this club has got the ceiling up there, but you know, we've got to work hard to try and hit it, that's for sure.
You spoke to the radio just a bit earlier about the loans in the squad at the moment, and I guess because of them, it's a young average age in the squad because of those loans, and I appreciate, you know, quite a few make it back when their loans are up. But would you like a bit more experience, just looking at what the average age may be at the moment, or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, people say that, but obviously in the position that we're in, you know, the experience to get out of these and to deal with difficult situations does help, but it also helps to sometimes there's a sort of fearless way in which young lads handle things as well. So obviously you've got to get the right young lads who've got that focus to just get on with the job, you know, but I do think it's important to have that experience and that guidance around them. You know, there's going to be times that it's tough, but if someone asks me what type of player I want, I just say a good one. If it's a left back, I want a good one. You know, so that's what we need to get. We need to get a squad of good players, and whether they're in the 30s, whether they're still in the teens, we need good players, because that's what wins games.
I read an interview with your former chairman today in the Warrington Press. I think he said something along the lines of there's a little agreement that you won't be going back to take up your old players. I mean, is that the case? And
it's an agreement, or it's a gentleman's agreement. You know, I think it's probably the right thing to do, but having said that, I took them all there. So
I mean, would you have, you know, without that, would you have, you know, do you think they would be capable of doing it? If you had the chance,
there's certainly players there who can step up, and if it's not me, someone else will. So what I will be saying is, if anyone comes knocking, make sure you let me know about it as well. You know, but listen, we've got a good relationship at the club. So it's, you know, but that's one of the things that when I left Tranmere and became Warrington manager, as I got used to the level and going to watch games even the league below and leagues below, there's a snobbery in football where there's a lot of people who won't go and watch because, you know, there isn't a room like this at half time to have a cup of tea and a biscuit and to talk rubbish and nonsense and just be seen with a load of other faces, and to network. But when you drop to lower levels, there's some very capable lads. They're all out there. You know, as I say, we took Ben Garrity from the Oyster, the Sunday League team. You know, we played a little bit of Saturday football as well for a team called Lower Breck now. And he went to Blackpool. 18 months he was with us. They are out there, but it's just about being, you know, I don't even think it's about being prepared to go and watch. You do your job, you know, and if you get tipped up on a player, you go and watch them, and then that's how you do things, whether it be in a development match or whether it be on a Sunday morning. If someone whose opinion you value tips you for a player and they're a good player, you go and have a look.
And ideally, you want to hit the ground running, don't you? Perhaps it's a bit of a strange start having a trophy rather than the league, and a huge league game, isn't it? A few days later against Guiseley. Want to hit the ground running and progress in the trophy and pick up 3 points, I'm sure.
Definitely. You know, as I said, I've said it a few times now, we need to win football matches. Whatever competition we're in, we need to get a run together. You know, I want lads at training tomorrow. I want them in the games that we'll put on. I want them to want to win, because we need to create that habit. We need to create that mindset that whatever we do, You want to win. When there's kids on a playground having a race, they all want to win. So we need to get that, and we need to make sure that we're all at it, because if we're not, and there's chinks in the chain, and it's not going to happen. So I want to give everybody an opportunity, but we'll be dragging everyone. We'll all be doing it. You know, it'll be hand in hand. It won't be someone getting dragged behind us. It'll be a full collective effort.
Finally for me for now, I know you've played here before, haven't you, a few times. How much are you looking forward to that home game a week tomorrow? I'm sure there'll be plenty in, you know, just almost introducing yourself, you know, saying hello and hopefully putting on a show.
Well, it'd be nice to put on a show and get a win. Obviously your first home game is you're looking forward to, but that's where you want it to. Obviously you want it to go well in every game, but you want it to go well. You want to start well. Whatever you do, whatever your job is, you want your first day. You want your first day to be a good one, because you know, first impressions. But we'll be doing everything we can, put it that way, and we'll be getting the lads as organised and as prepared as we can to first win Saturday.
Thank you, Paul. Great
Cheers.
to meet you.
Thanks.
I'll hand it over to the fans if you like.
I'll do some first, and then have we got some that are coming online? Yeah, we've got a few.
Paul, there's some of these we've probably touched on a little bit, so we'll just glance over ones that we've got. I mean, I think supporters, other than obviously us Telford being in the level above, but I think supporters are keen to know what attracted you to Telford, what made you make that decision to leave Warrington after 5 years?
Everything really. You know, we've touched on obviously where we're sat now, the training facilities, and the actual potential of you know of where we can go. I think if the chairman hadn't spoken to me and said about, you know, he doesn't just want to be sitting around in this division, he certainly doesn't want to be near the bottom of it. You know, and I'm exactly the same way. If you're going to do something, let's do it, and let's have a good go at it. And with what we've got here, you know, I see no reason why we shouldn't be successful, and certainly aiming to be successful.
You've touched slightly on the current squad and obviously the loan players. Are you giving yourself a window of so many weeks to assess the squad before you make a decision about which loan players need to go back, which areas need strengthening? Have you given yourself a window or a number of weeks? Or
I think you can put time frames on it, but football never seems to work like that, does it? You know, there might be somebody who hasn't had a sniff this season, who in the first 2 training sessions catches the eye and impresses, and then all of a sudden, where you thought you might need to strengthen, you actually don't, because there's already somebody there. Likewise, it could take somebody a little bit longer to find the feet and to find the changes, but I'd say it all the time at Warrington, when it comes to, because we are part-time, the opportunity to impress might only be that big. It might only be in a warm-up on a match day that I watch the warm-up and see he's at it today, even though he's on the bench, he's at it. And likewise, you've only got those opportunities in training to impress, so make sure you're impressed, make sure you're at it. Don't waste a day, because you know, if lads get that mentality about them, that they're prepared to put it in, and they're not wasting their time, they're not wasting our time, then I'm hoping that's what comes about in the current squad, and what people are telling me about the current squad is correct, in that there's a lot of ability. Let's just, like I say, see if we can get a tune out of the players.
over the last few seasons, we've struggled to probably keep as many clean sheets as we probably should do, and it's an area that I think the supporters have been concerned about. Have you got any plans to address certain areas like keeping clean sheets, you know, which obviously is vital to win football matches?
Yeah, I think firstly, you know, people always look to your back line, to your keeper, but at Warrington, we've historically always been tight at the back. We've had one season, I think the season where we did win the playoffs. We had the most clean sheets, and it's something that any good team needs to have. But it's not just about your defenders, it's about wingers, it's about midfielders, it's about strikers. People think, oh, you've got to be a good defender, you must be able to tackle, you must be able to head. You need to be able to organise, you need to recognise stopping a pass going through, and that might be higher up the pitch, putting yourself in a position to force it wide rather than opening the game up, so it allows to go at the heart of your team. So the defending and the clean sheets will be vital. They'll take work and they'll take discipline and organisation, but something I'm a big believer in, because if you're keeping clean sheets, you've got a chance, and especially with what is in the top end of the pitch that's already here. If we can get it right in both boxes, then I see no reason why we can't, as a team, keep clean sheets, never mind the back four and the keeper, as a team.
You touched slightly on obviously Carly, who's your assistant, who you've brought in. What's the connection between the two of you? You mentioned you haven't worked together previously. Have you played together, or?
No, we've just known each other. We've just known each other for a long time. I've obviously seen him play. I've played against him. I know what he's about. He's different to me, where he's obviously more offensive minded in the way he played, and obviously the way he thinks and the way he looks at things. Whereas I was more a grafter. I done the ugly bits, as they say. So from that point of view, we've already spoke about how we can put the two together, which is exactly what I had at the last club, where my assistant Mark, he was a striker, played in the league, played higher up the pitch than me, and it was something that we'd take the units away and we'd split the squad up, and he would work on sides of the game that where he was on the pitch, and I'd work on the opposite end, and that's something that I believe we'll be doing, and we'll be looking to make sure that when it comes to it, we can bring it together and it functions right.
And just finally, in terms of style of management and style of play, have you got a particular style of management that you've used at Warrington that you'll bring here, or will you have to adjust it, obviously because of the level being slightly different? Or
not really. I won't change it. It'll be how I was as a player, and that was honest and give everything. The players won't like me for lying, because I won't lie to them. They may dislike me for telling the truth and being honest. And if that's something that anyone can't handle, then at least people can't question me for telling them the truth and saying it how it is. That's not me trying to be, the big I am or anything like that. It's just the way I am. But I think if we adopt that approach and we adopt it straight away, and the lads know where they stand, then it's not a problem, because you do get players who say, just tell me the truth, and then you tell them the truth, and then they're like, he's just said this to me, and sometimes they can't handle it. But I won't change that approach, because like I said before about fans, people see through it. There's a lot of bull that goes with football, and a lot of managers and coaches, and they all talk this jargon, and they all say words that think they sound clever, but a lot of people see through it, and I see through it. I don't enjoy listening to it. It's not something that interests me. I just sooner see honesty and lads playing to their strengths, playing to the team's strengths, and I think if they do that with what we will add to them organisation and wise, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Evening, Paul. Got a few more questions from fans, as well as a couple from myself. You've been at a Step 3 club trying to get into Step 2, and now you're at a Step 2 club with the minimum aim of not going down to Step 3. So does that change your approach, how you go about your job at all?
Not really, because wherever you are, you're always, whatever it is, you're wanting to win football matches. And wherever you are in the league, we want to, obviously, we don't want to be at the bottom of the league, so we've got to win football matches. At Warrington, we wanted to get out the division, so we wanted to win football matches. So the whole aim of it is about just that, and that'll be exactly what it is. So nothing changes. Obviously, we need to look at things, and we need to try and build some confidence, but give the lads a framework to be able to play in an organisation that allows them to play to their strengths, but with just that framework where we're still organised around it as well.
Obviously, being in the situation that we're in the league means there probably is a degree of pressure for the players, but how do you go about lifting that off them? Or is it actually sometimes helpful to see them working under pressure to get a better an idea of what they're capable of?
Yeah, like I said before, I think, and I'm going to ask the players the question, do you think you're capable of playing for the club in the top 5 of this division or higher? And I'd be flabbergasted if any of them said no. So if like I expect, they all say yeah, then we need to find out certain reasons, certain issues, which are clearly there, and we need to try and iron them out as soon as possible. But like I said before about myself being honest, we can only do that if the players are honest as well, you know, which I'm hoping that comes out, because the quicker we identify issues that are happening, or where they might say to us we can help, then that just makes things happen quicker. If we can find out from them, they're the ones on the pitch, or who've been on the pitch, they're the ones who know, they're the ones who maybe don't understand what's been asked of them in the past, but they'll know, they'll be clear, because their instructions will be simple, and that'll be to play to their strengths and work as hard as they can for each other.
Okay. If we were to ask, what would people say, or what would you say, what identity does a Paul Carden team have? What sort of characteristics would you say that a Paul Carden team possesses?
Tough to beat, organised, and with ability to open teams up. But one thing I would say is, and I spoke to the chairman about this, as a side that's, especially when you're playing non-league, it's and you train twice a week, it's not always easy to get everything into this session about what you want. But what I would say is, we had at Warrington, we could answer most questions of the opposition. Whatever it was that they put at us, we could answer most questions. If they dropped off us, we had enough composure to play. If they put it on us, we had enough sort of intelligence to know where to put the ball in behind them. And if it was one-on-ones down the sides, we had enough ability to make things happen. And I think, I look at the squad here, and I think there's enough to work with to be able to answer most questions of most opponents in this division. But it's about, like I said, putting that organisation in place to allow the team to function as a team and not just be individuals dotted about the pitch and then give them the ball and hope something happens. There has to be a plan, and the plan is to be able to answer the questions of the opponents in this division, whether it's Fylde who want to play out and play through the lines, whether it's whoever wants to play direct and throw it right on us. We need to be able to handle it, and that's what a good team does.
Okay. Have you actually had any opportunity? Obviously, you were still managing Warrington up until Saturday. Have you had any opportunity to see any of Telford's games on video or anything like that?
Only bits and pieces of highlights and stuff, which obviously you don't see the full picture. But listen, what's happened and what's gone on isn't irrelevant, because we need to dig up some reasons why things have happened on the pitch. There's no point in in just completely ignoring it. It is a new start. It is time for change, but we still have to find out, you know, certain issues that if we do find them out now or as quickly as possible, then we can make sure that we don't continue making the same problem, having the same problems and the same issues.
Great. I know we've spoken about the composition of the squad. I think there was one question about there are a couple of players currently out on loan. Would you be intending to recall them, or how would you find out about how they're doing? To, you know,
it's just going to be. I think we start recalling players from loans before we've assessed what we've actually got now. There's no point in pulling players back who are playing football who we can see. We can get them watched, we can go and see them, and if they're playing football, then that's the best way to judge a player, not just on a training on a Tuesday and Thursday. If they're playing in a competitive game, that's the best way to see them.
Okay.
So I suppose with that in mind, I've been asked, there's a question here about, you know, are you perhaps targeting any players to bring in the club, but is that going to be dependent on your assessment of the squad to start with?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can have lists as long as, you know, or as notepads full of players as long as you want, but until we know, like I said before, what we're working with, there might be someone that stands out who no one would have thought. So I think it'd be wrong to say if there wasn't players out there who were available who we knew were going to come in and make an immediate impact, that we wouldn't be interested, because of course we would. But right now we're concentrating on what we've got, until such time as we make signings or players leave, then it'll just happen in its own way, in its own time.
Okay.
I've actually got the chairman sat in the room with us, so maybe this is as much of him to answer as much as you, but have you been set any particular targets for the foreseeable future?
Well, just to get away from the bottom of the division. We both believe that we've got enough in the squad to be able to do that, but there's no good talking about it. It's no good writing teams down. It's no good looking at tactics boards. It's about getting the work on the training field to look the same as what we're doing out there, because without the work and without the input and, like I said before, the organisation, we can write things down and we can have our aims and we can have our goals, but it comes down to getting your hands dirty and making sure the players know what's required of them.
Okay. We've been asked a question about how long you've been contracted for. Is that something you're willing to divulge?
Yeah, well, myself and Carl have both signed for 2.5 seasons, which is a massive compliment, really, from the club, and but from the chairman's point of view, he's probably sick of going through it all. I would imagine. From my point of view, it gives us time to really work and to really put some foundations in place to be able to go forward.
Okay. I think we've probably covered just about most of them. I'm going to ask you this one just because, and I think you'll know the person who's asking this question as well. Saying, we've heard your favourite karaoke song was Red Light Spells Danger at Warrington. Can you tell us more about that? That's from a Dom Finnegan.
Yeah, Kit man. It's actually his favourite karaoke song. He loves that song. He absolutely murders it as well. But yeah, he's a funny fella. He's a funny fella. We should actually get him up to a little song on the pitch, Dom. He'd enjoy that. He'd certainly entertain anyway.
Any chance the lads are going to hear you sing at any point, or?
Not sure about that.
Not sure about that. Maybe. Okay, save that one for Christmas, maybe. Okay.
Paul, sorry mate, just one or two more. I hope you don't mind me asking. The last time this club, I think I'm right in saying, appointed a Merseysider as a manager, he did pretty well. Still obviously managing at this level. Do you know Liam much, or have you spoke to him about the club? Or?
Yeah, I know Liam well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not too many in football in Merseyside who don't know Liam. Not too many in England who don't know Liam actually. No, he done unbelievably well here. He always speaks highly of the club, and someone I picked his brains on obviously. He told me the media were intense as well.
You do well to match the achievement of his first season, I'm sure.
People don't realise how many things Liam's actually won, promotions and cups and stuff like that. You know, he actually he emailed me his CV to print off in ours once, because his printer was broke, and I printed it off and I'm reading it and I'm thinking, when did you win all this? It's like he's been a manager since he was 15. But everywhere he goes, he does well. He either takes clubs up that, you know, that's the aim. He keeps clubs up who shouldn't be getting relegated. You know, he's a good fella. He's a good person, obviously, to have a relationship with, and contacts wise, and he knows this level, and I'll definitely be in his ear over opponents and players and all that, like I have done, you know, in my last job.
In all seriousness, I guess you didn't need to, because it's a great move for yourself, isn't it? But helped you sell, helped almost sell the move, the club.
He told me that, he just said to me, he said you'll love it, you'll get it going. He said, and wants it to go, and he said it's a brilliant place to be a manager.
Yeah. I just wondered about the Northwest scene, as you know so well, I'm sure. Is it a hotbed for potential targets, talent that perhaps aren't in and around this club at the moment? Is it an area that you're happy to have logistically players coming down from there, I'm sure?
Yeah, not too far though.
No.
You know, I don't want lads having to travel too far and you know, be getting out of the car, stretching their backs before they start training or playing. But there certainly is. There's a lot of players, like I say, there's a lot of players everywhere. You've just got to get out and look for them. You've got to find them. You've got to have your ear to the ground, and you've got to, you know, make sure you take calls off people that you know have got a good eye for a player, and not necessarily listen to all the agents, like I said before. There isn't an agent with a bad footballer, so you know, there's good players everywhere. There's a lot in the Northwest, not too far from here, but you know, we'll be looking wherever they come from.
Yeah, so I've got one more question. I'm just going to hang over to Luke. It's just one that's coming on Twitter here. Basically, we're not expecting anybody playing wise through the door before Saturday then?
Again, it might happen. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen or it's going to happen. It might happen, and that's not me trying to be cagey or anything like that. It's just going to be if someone becomes available. Like, you know, it sounds like a sit on the fence answer. It's not. If someone comes available that we know straight away is going to improve us, then yeah, it's something we'll look to do. That's it.
Paul, we've been speaking for just over an hour now, so I think we really appreciate your time this evening. I think, sort of to draw it to a close, have you got a message for the supporters to sort of to finish on? And obviously we've had, I think, 200 people watching sort of live this evening, which has been fantastic for us. So is there a final message you can give them, obviously ahead of the weekend?
I think it's, as always, just to get behind the lads. You know, it's you know, I'm a Liverpool fan, and it's been easy to smile and to enjoy the football that's been on show there, and I'm sure over the last few years at Telford there's been some good times and some, but I remember being a Liverpool fan when it was poor, and again it was easy to be drawn into it and not be supportive, even though, you know, I know so many season ticket holders who go and watch Liverpool and they'd be moaning, they'd be negative and they'd be down, and it's easy to to be that way when you're not seeing what you want to see. But, you know, but as a supporter, you know, you don't want happy clappers. You don't want that type of thing. But just to get behind the lads, you know, a good pass is encouraged, a good touch, a man on, all that type of stuff that can help on the pitch. And I'm sure it happens. But I haven't been here as a Telford player or as a Telford manager as of yet, and that's, you know, just get behind the lads, get with them, stick with them, and I'm sure it'll turn sooner by doing that.
I think on behalf of everyone, we would like to thank you for this evening, and good luck Saturday, and we look forward to working with you and seeing the team in action on Saturday. Brilliant, thank you.